We are looking at a function today, y is equal to x over the square root of x squared plus 1, and we're going to try and find y prime. Okay, to find y prime, we need to realize that we're going to use the quotient rule and use the chain rule. So let me just write low d high minus high d low all over low squared. Now let's go over here and figure out what high and low are. High is going to be x. High prime will be 1. Low is going to be x squared plus 1 to the 1/2. And I write it that way so we can do low prime using the chain rule. 1/2 x squared plus 1, that's x squared plus 1 to the negative 1/2. And we have to multiply that by the derivative of u, and the derivative is going to be 2x. So when we simplify this, it's going to be x times x squared plus 1 to the negative 1/2. My 2's are looking a little weird here today. Okay, now that we have high, low, high prime, low prime, we can go ahead and write everything in here. First, low, which is x squared plus 1, negative 1/2, minus high d low. Well, high is x. Derivative of low is x times x squared plus 1 to negative 1/2. And I have an error over here. This is actually plus 1/2 because that's low. It's before we took the derivative. So the numerator is x squared plus 1 to the 1/2 minus, this will be x squared when we combine them, x squared plus 1 to the negative 1/2 all over low squared, which is x squared plus 1 to the 1/2 squared, so that's just x squared plus 1. So let's go ahead and start doing some computation on this. X squared plus 1 to the 1/2, I'm just going to make that a square root of x squared plus 1 minus x squared over the square root of x squared plus 1. And all of this is divided by x plus 1. Now I need to combine my fractions in the numerator, so what I'm going to do is multiply this first term by the square root of x squared plus 1 over the square root of x squared plus 1. That gives me a common denominator, and that common denominator will be the square root of x squared plus 1. So that's the denominator. If I multiply these two together, I just get x squared plus 1 minus x squared, and then all of this is over x plus 1. I'm going to come up here with it. X squared plus 1 minus x squared. I'm going to go back to black. So I have 1 over square root of x squared plus 1 all over x squared plus 1. And right now I'm going to put this in parentheses and raise it to the first power because that's what it is. Okay, now to get rid of this compound fraction, you can do this mentally. I'm going to write out the steps. Multiply both the numerator and denominator by the square root of x squared plus 1, x squared plus 1. And what that ends up doing, it's x squared plus 1 over x squared plus 1, or 1, divided by x squared plus 1. Now that's to the first power, so I'm going to say to the 2/2 power times x squared plus 1 to the 1/2 power. You add those together, you get 1 over x squared plus 1 to the 3/2 power, and the way I'd like to write that, 1 over the square root of x squared plus 1 to the 3rd. And that would be the final answer. Y prime is equal to that.